Hello everybody. Welcome friends. We are going to do something fun today. We're going to work a little bit with vellum and then I'm going to talk about some ways to adhere it. I'm going to talk about some ways to stamp on it, and so that's what we're going to be doing today. And I am going to make sure I can see any comments. So I am streaming today on Facebook and YouTube. So if you see any comments from somebody that you don't see or if you hear me answering comments, that's why it's on the other platform. So I'm just gonna pop in here and take care of a couple of things. I so wish we could do this before time, but it's just not always possible. But hang on just one second. What have you guys been up to? Did you have a wonderful have you had a great week so far? Hi Karen, how are you? I hope you have. Hope you've had a great week. This is gonna be fun. Now, some of this stuff probably would have been better if I would have recorded it perhaps, and we could have cut out some of the not necessary parts, but since I am trying to do this live, who knows how this will go. I will try to not take too much time, but I am curious, did you get a notification that I was going to be live? And if you did, I would like to know if it was through the Remind, texting, Facebook, or Telegram. Let me know how you knew that I was live. I'm just very curious about that. So there we go. Hang on one second. I put us over in the Clubhouse too. And if you're not familiar, if you're not part of the Clubhouse group, it's a no-cost group to join us over there. And so we've been doing a mystery card once a month. So let's see. Hi, Deborah. We got Karen, Sue. Sue says Telegram. Deborah, Facebook. Okay. Nice. All right. Well, as long as we know when it happens, right? Usually, I also on Facebook, when I get ready to go live, the software that I use, when I get it all ready, it turns up as an event, and then I go live from there, and it's as an event. But I didn't get that far today, so I was kind of a little bit behind. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn you down to the desktop. And so I've got some pieces of vellum here that we're going to talk about. We're going to do some different things with them. But one of the hard things to deal with vellum is adhering it onto your, whatever you're using. And I made a couple of little samples here, and I don't know, I'm going to hold them real close up here to what is my camera, and I'm going to show you. This side, a big chunk of it has an overall piece of basically like sticker tape. We'll just call it that. And then let me get something I can kind of point to or point with. Let me see. Okay. Right here, there's a glue dot, and you can see it through here. And down here's the other glue dot. Here's a little blob of the glue that I use all the time that dries clear, right there and right here. And so where it's darker on the, the paper, the printed paper, that's where I've got some glue. And so you can see it's kind of seeping through. Now, on this part that has the other sticker, it's not, or it's just like, double-sided adhesive. That's what it really is. Now, I didn't put it clear to the edge, but it's just not as noticeable to me as like the glue dots. So, one of the things that we try to do all the time is be really strategic where we are placing items and how we're gluing it. So, sometimes we might just tack a piece of vellum on with little brads or something, and we or put a sticker over it. We put a glue dot or some glue there, and then we put a sticker over it. But the one thing I love about vellum is that it just has this really pretty translucent quality. Oh my goodness. Oh, I thought I lost my piece of vellum. And it actually comes in different thicknesses. Oh, well, that's not good. Hang on one second. The dye I'm going to use fell in my empty trash can. Okay, so one of the things about it is you can use it in your design work. And I don't know, a while back I worked on a scrapbook page, and it just felt like it needed something. And so I put a big square of vellum as part of the design of the scrapbook. And I wish I knew where that was right offhand. When I finally thought about it, it was too close to start, and so I didn't have time to go look at it. But it just really made such a difference in the way that it looked, because you can still see the colors and the designs. But the thing about it is always trying to, get that adhesive hidden. And so I saw somebody do this the other day, and I thought, you know what, I don't know how long ago people figured out to use that kind of thing for it. And even if you use like a little strip of double-sided tape, you can see it. And so, because you're just not covering enough of it that it kind of gives it a smooth, flawless look, right? Hi, Estella. So yeah, it just is, you just have to, do it like that. Oh, junk journaling. Oh, I didn't even put myself in there, Karen. Karen, did you mean, well, I don't think I am in there. I don't think I put anything in there. When I put things in junk journaling, they have to go in and be approved. And so it's not very easy for me to pop that in. So usually if somebody sees me, if Molly or if Jimmy Lou sees me, they can pop me in there. But otherwise I have to just, do it later. But that's good to know. Okay, and then, so here's another way. There are these little things that are like that you can make a little sticker. We're going to do that too. But then I decided to see if it gave a smooth enough adhesion on that sticker tape. It's that Xyron. Let me see if I can get it to focus. And see, you can't see anything on there. Nothing. And so I thought, well, that's kind of fun. So let's go ahead and let's do some fun things with our vellum. So first of all, let's do this. I wanted to show you how you can, okay, now I talked to you about vellum comes in different weights. And you can emboss vellum. And here's a piece that I first did, and I used my regular little folder thing. And this vellum is thin enough that it made it crack for this design. And this is an old Stampin' Up! Embossing folder. And the reason I wanted to show you this is because I remembered that this would happen. I had made a card one time, and that's what happened, was it kind of, cracked. Now, if you're going to, adhere it all down to the card, it's, it might not be so bad. But we don't really usually want our projects all, coming apart and cracking, right? So how do you deal with that? Well, I did another little piece. What did I do with it? Well, it's here somewhere. I made another little piece, and one of the things that you can do is after you run it through, you can just take some ink on your finger or something and then just lightly rub it on here. Now this got kind of messy because my finger got down in the grooves. So it kind of got in there and made it dirty. And this was a rose gold pigment ink. Now pigment ink is a kind of a more squishy, wet feeling ink, and so that was kind of easier to just kind of rub and buff it across there. You guys, look, I take my watch off. Look, I'm getting a watch line on my arm. So so that's one thing. But look at this one. It did not crack and make the problems. And the way that I did that was I just used some of my, here, I'm going to put this up here. It might make it a little bit shaky, but I'm going to show you. So I've got this kind of hand crank Gemini thing, and it's got a lot of pressure. But sometimes, depending on what your embossing folder is, because now they are making embossing folders that are 3D, which means it's not flat and one level coming up. It's like got a lot of dimension to it for the folder. So some of those you can put straight through and then crank them through. Now you can see, since I can push that right through, it doesn't have enough, there's not enough pressure to do anything. So I am going to go ahead and get this ready. I might need a little bit of, here's a little bit of washi tape. I'm going to decide, now this is in my way. Oh my goodness, that thing sticks. It's got these sticky feet under it. Because what I wanted to do is I want to put this, and then I want to stamp a greeting off over here to the side, and I hope there's going to be enough room, because I'm going to stamp it on the vellum, because I wanted to talk to you about that. So I'm going to put it right there. Well, first of all, let's get it where we can tape it down. Another thing that you can do to add some color to an embossing folder, I don't know if you know this or not, is take your ink, and on the part that sticks up, like this is the part that sticks up on this folder, on that you just rub your ink there, and then as you are embossing, it adds some color. Let's see if we can get this to stay. Now you have to be careful on some of these, because as you can see, the design stops. The design stops over here at the edge. So if I run my card very far off this way, my card front for my vellum, or my vellum for my card front, it's going to get off and I'm going to get this weird line across here. So I don't want that. So then what I did was I just kept adding enough pieces of just cardstock, and I cut up a piece of cardstock, and for this particular machine, this is like 6 pieces, and so I ran it through, and it went through real easy, and yet, you know, enough that it had pressure, and it didn't crack the design or the vellum. Goodness, I'm gonna get it, you guys. How many of you have done any embossing on vellum? Okay, so now we've got that. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so I'm gonna get this off of here. It is so stuck on here. I gotta slide it off. That wasn't as shaky on the camera as I thought it might be. And then let's stamp a little bit different. Let's add some embossing, you guys. Now, vellum, you cannot just use a lot of your normal inks because it's got that slippery surface. Oh, this did crack too. No. Well, when we get our adhesive on there, I think we'll be good. Well, that's disappointing. But yeah, there are different, and I have no idea what weight this vellum is that I've got here. I've had it for a long, long time. Oh. Okay, so that's the inside. And you know, it just depends on which side you want to use. This is the side that's dipping down in. So this is the deboss side. And this is the emboss side because it's coming up and you can feel that on here. Let me see if it looks like I can get this right here. Nope. That is not going to work, you guys. Well, okay then. That's not happening. Okay, well, I'll show you that in a second. But let me show you just this vellum, putting it on white cardstock. I mean, it's just kind of really a subtle, elegant look to the, you know, to your card. And then I'll have to decide a different way to do that. But I've got this. Now here's some really wide double-sided tape. And this is what you can do. Maybe you can do it. Maybe I can do it. Okay. Yeah, so how many of you have ever worked much with vellum? Why wouldn't you use a plate top and bottom? On this thing, it would be too much pressure for it, Sue. You have to use your sandwich according to how much pressure that you want. And that's why a lot of times companies have already decided how much pressure that you need for different kinds of things. But even then, every machine that is manufactured is different. Hi, Donna. Every single one of them. Even though there is a standard, unless they are going to check every machine going out of a company, which you know they're not going to do, they all have a little bit different amount of pressure. And you guys, is this like too wide for this too? That's okay. I'm just going to put it down here. Is that the side I wanted? I think so. I'm just going to roll it on here. And I got it crooked. I tell you, doing things live, you never know what's going to happen. Ever. Never, ever. I need to peel this back a tiny bit because it's going to stick out. And then I'm going to have sticky stuff on the front of my card. Okay, this is... Oh my goodness. I should have cut the piece and put it on there. I'm just about to get it, you guys. I'm just going to trim the back of this part off a little bit. Oh my goodness. This could be one of those craft fails. Oh, goodness, goodness, goodness. And then it's all sticky on my scissors. I was so disappointed that that's not going to... Well, one, it cracked. Now I think we're going to be able to see this part. That tape is super sticky. Yeah, I should have cut that first before I ever put it on that vellum. Okay. I still have got to get this part trimmed off. Maybe I can just tuck it under. It's still going to be sticky. There. All right, there. So now I'm just going to stick it on here. And I made it so that it would have that little white border around. And now I planned for it to go the other way, but there it is. Oh my goodness. Well, you know, I could put something across here for a greeting. But anyway, look how simple and... You know, it's just a really soft and subtle look on that, right? God grief. Let me get this cleaned off. Let me grab a scrap of vellum, and I wanted to show you. There just was not enough room on there. But I wanted to show you how you could stamp on there. And I don't have another folder out here to do that. Okay, if you're going to stamp on vellum, you either need to use... you can use, oh, what is it? StazOn. StazOn is a solvent-based ink, and it's not going to smear off on your paper. Or you can do what we're going to do, and that is we're going to emboss it. So if you're going to emboss something, you can either use a pigment ink because it stays drier, but I'm not sure. I didn't try it with a pigment ink yet. But this is called Versamark, and Versamark is kind of a sticky ink, and the sticky ink is going to be what will hold our embossing powder. Now this, oh, I wanted to do, You know what, you guys? We are going to emboss, but we're going to make something else too. I was going to do it I was going to show you gold, but for our next little thing we're going to work on, it's going to be, I wanted it to be white. So this is this little kind of a powder filled little bag, and you wipe it across your paper that you are going to emboss on, and it gets the static off, so you have less of a chance of embossing powder sticking where you don't want it. And I got to turn the fan off, or I'm going to have embossing paper everywhere. So we've got that. We've got our paper. We're going to tap, tap, tap our little Versamark ink thing on here. And you can get them in big ones. I just grabbed this tiny little one first. And I'm just going to put it on here. And we are going to use this. I'm going to cut this out. So we just get that on there. And then they make all kinds of tools that you can actually use, you know, little trays. But I am just always, white ones are still usually my favorite. Now let's see how this white on white looks. We might have to do the other one, but I wanted to try this. And see how that looks. And then it's a good idea to put the excess back in your jar before you start using your heat tool, because you'll blow it away. And it just doesn't take very much embossing powder. And so when you're using a tiny little a little section like this, grab some tweezers or something that you can hang on to. And then you're going to want to heat real slow. You can't get it super duper hot, or you're going to warp your vellum. So you're just going to want to warm it up and then do it on both sides. And that helps, you know, heat it as well. And it just is going to take just a moment. And then you can start to see the magic happen. And it is now. Can you see it now? This is going to be too... Now I'm going to put this over a different piece of paper, so let's see how it shows up. We might have to change course here, but this was my paper I wanted to put it on, and it's kind of, that is so unfun. Okay, I don't like that, and we're gonna have to change here. Let's do the other one. You know, when I first started that, I was thinking the reason I didn't go with the gold one was because I thought I was going to mess up my stamp. Oh, I'm going to mess up the stamp because I was still using the same Versamark on it. Let's do a gold one. But see it, the embossing works out really quick. Let's try again, you guys. Oh my goodness, they're going to take away my craft card. And I don't know exactly how big I want this yet, but probably not super big. So I'm just going to press that on. Oh, and I forgot to use my little embossing buddy thing there. So we'll have to see, and I'll show you what to do. If you forget to do that, I'll show you what you can do. You know, I'm always showing you how to fix stuff, right? Unfun. Or I guess it's supposed to be none fun. And that is from my oldest granddaughter. Something was going on when she was little bitty, and she told somebody that they were none fun. I don't remember. It seemed like she didn't get to go where she wanted to or something. So you could just take a little brush, and if you see some, you know, little specks where they're not supposed to be, you can kind of, you have a better chance of like getting them out of the way. And sometimes it doesn't, you know, matter so much. Just a speck here or there. It's just going to be another little bit of fun, right? Okay. So put it back in your little jar before you start using the heat tool. You don't want it to blow around. And It's so fine. It is super, super fine. And you know, you heard me say I even turn off my overhead fan. Okay, so let's do this. There might be enough room on that other one that I can show you what it looks like stamped and stays on too. Well, I'll show you another couple things. So I've got enough. I don't think I have enough vellum over here though. But don't you love watching embossing like do its magic and just turn? I love it. It's like fun. That's a fun part of crafting, is watching things like that when you have some kind of a reaction like embossing powder gives you. Okay, close these back up. And I keep these just, you know, some of the ones you use all the time or that you use the most, it's kind of handy. And I started just sticking my little embossing buddy in there with it too. Okay, so on this is some of that Unbounded Beauty paper. And this has got this one on this side and this on this side. Now I'm going to go ahead and put this on a white card base. And just let that white look like it's matted around there, around the edge. And then I'm going to show you about making the stickers. The other day, people were asking if I could show how you could make die cut, turn your die cuts into stickers. And I'm going to show you that. And it's not hard, you guys. Okay. And I've got a couple of products to do that with. Okay, so I'm going to put this here. And the reason I wanted it white is because I thought it would be pretty just to use with some white. So we've got the background here and this, but it just doesn't show up. I wonder if you had like a... I mean, it's still, even if you put a darker color, I mean, it's just so subtle. Your greeting is hardly a greeting if you can't read it. If they can't see it, they're not going to know, right? Okay, so we've got that on there. And now I want to show you, well, you know what? I'm only going to need to cut one thing because I can use this one for the other thing I was going to show you, I think. Okay, so to make... Well, we want to go ahead and put our, let's cut this so it is a nicer size. Hopefully that's kind of square. I'm going to kind of round the edges a little bit. Maybe. Make it look a little bit more fancy. I don't know where my corner rounder is. It's probably buried over here and stuff. I had a really nice little small corner rounder and it quit working. I don't know what company it was, and I was kind of sad because it had a nice little corner. It was just a real small one. The problem with doing it this way is, you know, they may not match, but, you know, I don't think anybody's going to know, do you? I think it'll be okay. Now, I would have rather had that white, but, you know, there it is. Now, the other thing, or, you know, what else we could do is we could take that and stamp it in black. What do you think? Should we try black? Well, so I showed you how to do that. Let me see. Do we have another piece of vellum here that's big enough? Not that one. I might have to cut another piece. Hang on one second. I'm just going to be right here at the side. And I'll grab another piece of vellum for us and give it a quick cut so we can try another couple of things. And maybe I can show you a couple of other ways to stamp them. Okay, so I've got another piece of vellum. And let's see what it looks like if we do I'm gonna have to wipe this off. Hang on. And sometimes you can kind of stamp a lot of whatever's on there off. Man, that's sticky. God, that's sticky that is, you guys. I wouldn't have thought that would have had that much left on it. Okay, so now you can take some StazOn. Now StazOn has a plastic insert in the top to help keep your ink wet, keep it from drying out so fast. And one of the things you can do is put a glue dot in that section, so you're not always having to, like right here, like you just put a little glue dot right here, and then it'll stay on there better. And you're not always having to fight with that little insert. So let's do this. Let's see how this does. There. Now we'll give that just a second to dry. Well, that might be okay with the, because it's on the vellum and it gives it a little bit of softness. I don't think that's so bad. But you've got to let it dry too. We might even just hit that a second with this. Make sure it dries. And you can see one thing when it's on the vellum, you can see whether it is still wet or not. And I can still see a little bit of it is wet. So let's just clip that off. I think that's a little bit better. And since I'm not putting a whole lot on the card, I think I will leave it a little bit bigger. And this could be kind of an example of how to make a sticker. Let me see if it'll go through here. Now they make these, oh, that's too wide. Shoot. Okay, so we're gonna have to use another little piece of this. And I'm gonna have to do this. I'm going to pull it to the side so I don't have so much sticking out on both sides this time, you guys. Okay. So we've got that on. I think it's dry. And I'm just going to lay this on the back. You know what? I am going to trim these off too. We're going to have corners poking out. I thought I had left enough room around the edge. Okay, and then just, you know, give it a good press. Whoops. So basically we've almost made this whole thing a sticker, right? So I'm just going to put this here. Down kind of low. And now on this one, this is what I was going to tell you. You can take a die cut, and Xyron makes, they make different sizes of their, I'm just going to call it a machine. And this one is just a little handheld one that you can put your item in here, through here. And it's got two pieces. One is a clear little film on the cover, and the bottom piece down here, the white part right in there, that's the adhesive. And so as you put something in, let me make sure it's going to go in there. Yes. You stick it in here until you can just get it to touch that white. And you make sure the bottom, the part you want your adhesive on, you make sure that that's on the white. I think I'm going to have to put it this way to get it started. Gotta pull something out to grab. So we're just going to stick that on there. And I got to make sure it's going to go through. There we go. And now you just kind of guide it through and pull it through. So you can see it can't be super wide, but just to make little individual stickers, this is perfect. So you've got that on there, you just tear it off, and now you just give it a good press. Oh, my top film is tighter than the bottom part. So you push this all down really, really good. And that way you get your adhesive on the back. But the other reason that you're pushing this all down is so that your adhesive isn't going to be coming up all over everywhere on you. And it kind of will stick, some of it will stick to this as we peel it off. So we're going to take this off, and it's sticking to the paper. Boy, I haven't ever had this much trouble. Of course, I usually do things that are a little bit more solid, but I don't know if you can see. It's pulling that excess adhesive off onto that top sheet with it. I don't think you can see that. The light's too bright. But that's partly why you need to do that. Now then you can pull this off. Now because I did not press it good enough, because I have got little stickery things, little adhesive everywhere here. Now, you know what? Actually, I'm going to go ahead and put it on, and then I'm going to rub that other thing back over it. So I just want to get this to where, oh my goodness, this is going to have to be standing up almost straight. So there we go. And I'm going to turn this other side over and press it and pick up some of the rest of that. Okay, so I did not put the sticky side down on that, but it picked it up. The back side of it picked it up. Okay, so now then, if we're going to make one the other way that you can do it is you've got your die cut, and you need your paper, and I don't want to use more of this than I have to, so I'm just going to put this on here. You know, let me see here. Yeah, actually, if I just cut this up a little farther. Oh, I've just got sticky stuff everywhere, you guys. Sticky stuff. So you can either emboss your, your little words. I don't know, which do you like better? I could put that right over the top of that if we don't like it. But I don't mind the black. But I wish the white one would have looked good. Actually, oh, that looks goofy. All right. Let's see. So if this goes this way, we're going to put the paper that same direction and stick it on there. I should have just cut the whole piece, you guys. I'm making stuff hard for myself today. I don't know why. You know what? Oh, here's a plan. I'm going to hold this here like this and just kind of eyeball that to make sure it gets stuck down. Okay, I did it. And now I've done that same thing and have way too much. This time I got paper though. I'm going to trim this paper off and get rid of that whole excess amount. Now this one, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my little folder because that's the system that my little tiny machine here just uses the folder system for embossing. But where did she put it? There it is. So we are going to leave the adhesive part, leave it covered back there. Don't take that off. And then we're going to put this on here. And you know, even if it doesn't have all of it covered, it's going to be fine. It will mostly stick on there anyway. Let's just get this so it will stay in place as we run it through. And I already know that it doesn't need. And when you have these folders, you want to just keep rotating them, like, you know, flip them over, do it one way, flip it, you know, the other way, turn them over, you know, you just keep doing it like that. And the folders will last a fair amount of time. In fact, I'm more likely to lose my folder than it not, you know, work anymore, right? Okay, and then we gotta pull it out of here. You just have to keep cranking. It's got enough pressure that it doesn't just release and you can pull it all the way through. Okay, so one way we made a sticker was to just use the die cut, and if it's small enough, or if you have a big Xyron machine, you can do, you know, any size that you need to put adhesive on something. But this way, then we've kind of made our sticker like this. And now I'm going to peel this off on the back. Well, let's get it off of here first. Okay. So there's all of that. And now, I'm not sure how much of this we're going to have to poke out. Oh, quite a bit on here. So this, I made this the other day, and I didn't have very many of them that had to be poked out. But now that we've got, it is coming out though. You know, and I tell you what, this was probably not the best to do a demo with because this is so fussy to do. You know, but you've got your adhesive all over the back and you're not having to glue teeny little parts. So that's kind of a plus, right? And just, oh man, this has got too many parts, you guys. Goodness gracious. Nobody wants to sit around watching somebody like weed all of the adhesive out. Okay. My goodness. Like I said, this is one of those things that probably should have been a video that is uploaded, not done live. I still have a few of you here with me. Who makes that machine? That machine is, that particular one is from Crafter's Companion. I know that, let's see, who else makes a little one like that? Somebody else that makes one that's a little hand one is, let me think. I'll remember soon. Oh, what is the name of that? Shoot, I cannot think of what that company is. They make lots of cute little dies too. Oh, I don't know. The only place I've ever seen them, I've never seen them for sale anywhere except on HSN. That's the only place I've ever seen them. What is that company called? Oh, you guys, I'll have to let you know. I cannot think of that to save my life. But, you know, there are electric ones that you can get. You know, the thing about them is you've got to have it sitting somewhere where you can keep it plugged in. The little hand ones. And, you know, honestly, I have been really pleased with the amount of stuff that I have that I use that'll go through. I had thought, well, that's kind of little. I don't know what I would, you know, how much stuff would I be able to use it for? Well, the fact is, most of the stuff that I probably do is kind of small. So it doesn't really matter. I will say Crafter's Companion is a company that is out of Great Britain. And so, you know, a lot of times, you know, getting refills for something or, you know, trying to, like, sometimes it's hard to get extra plates from them. And they run out. I mean, they have a lot of people who like the products, and so it's hard to find things when you need to replenish something. So that's kind of a problem. And I know their ink pads, they don't do refills for their ink pads, I don't think. Or is it the markers? I don't know. That's why it's kind of nice when you've got a company that, you know, you can get your refills and stuff for, because then it becomes more economical. Okay, now, finally, where did this part, you guys? Yeah, if I'd have used a more solid shape, it would not have taken this long. So I'm just going to lay this up here. You know what? Let's do this. Just because your die comes some way doesn't mean you have to use it that way. I'm going to trim it there, and I'm going to cut it off up here. Maybe. I'm just going to snip it here. And that way, that one can go off in that direction. Just tap it down. And this one, I don't know, maybe I can either put it off over here, I can leave it off. I could kind of put it along here. You know, I don't mind that, except it's got too much stuff here. There, I like that. It kind of frames our little greeting a little bit better like that. And then I got a tiny little bow. I already made it. It's just some 1/4-inch satin ribbon. And then I'm going to use a glue dot to stick that on. I might use a glue dot and a tiny bit of glue. Can I get that off of there? So I'm just going to put that on here with a tiny bit of glue. And then we will, let's see what else we can do to kind of doll it up. Well, I gotta kind of twist it so it's out of the way of my greeting. I had all kinds of issues. Let's trim some of that off. But, you know, this has got an awful lot of white around it, but, you know, I think it pulls it all together, right? It kind of brings it all together, and then maybe we'll put another couple little sparkly things on for good measure. And it's got a little bit of this green in there. I don't know. What do you think, guys? What color shall we use? It's got kind of this It's got all the colors. I'm not going to use any of this yellow color, and probably not this green. So we've got so I'm just going to call this green, pink, and purple. What colors do you think? It's hard for you to see probably. There you go. So of the top three, what do you think? And we'll call this 1, 2, and 3. What color shall we use for some little bling? I feel like I haven't participated well with you today. Hey Carol, how are you? What do you think? 1 and 3? The purple and the green? I like that. Anybody else? Deborah says 2, the little pink. I like the pink. I like all of them. I love all of them. Anybody else got any thoughts? Oh, you guys got any plans for dinner? What are you guys having for dinner today? Much better in gold. Oh, you like the gold better? You know what? I think with this one, I think silver would have been pretty. You like that better with the gold? That's kind of pretty. This is kind of harsh. Silver would have been pretty, I think. Okay, let's just go ahead and start popping some of them on here. I know these are fresh glue dots, and so I'm not going to put any of the glue on like I usually do. And let's see. Let's see where we can pop some on here. Maybe we'll just mix it all up. The pink doesn't show up very much on there. The second one. There we go. See, look how they catch the light. They're kind of faceted. I think they're cute. Oh, you like the black now. Yeah. Well, the gold was sure better than the white one that basically ended up almost being transparent. So, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, you know, if that was white on something else, on colored cardstock, that'd be pretty. That would have been really pretty. But, you know, so we kind of did a lot today. We talked about some vellum, how you can emboss it. You got to be careful, though. If you're going to emboss the vellum, you have to be careful. And then, you know, using, I tell you, using bigger pieces of the double-sided adhesive in the big pieces, that is really helpful. Now, if you had some pieces, now trying to get it the whole piece on like we did this, that was kind of difficult. And I think if I were going to do this again and use another thing where I had a bigger thing that I embossed, I think I would go back to just doing some smaller things and covering it up with another thing on the outside. You know, like you could put a little flower or something here, whatever you wanted to do, and just cover up your, you know, the glue underneath from being able to see it down there. I think that's what I would do. So, I don't know. You guys, my goodness, I messed around here. It's almost been an hour. Thank you so much for joining me. And tomorrow morning, I am going to pop on for just a little while and show you some of my things from some of my, I'm gonna call it treasure hunt. Some estate sale things. And I'm going to scan some of those things and put them in my shop. And that way, you know, they'll be digital and everybody can enjoy them. Some really fun paper products that I found. So I think that'll be fun. So you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Helpful info. Thank you. You'll make a few stickers. Great. Yeah, and you can always come back and, and see it. But, yeah, basically you've got those two ways. Either put your double-sided paper and leave the, the cover paper on while you run it through your die cut with your things on. And, and otherwise you can run it through one of the little sticker machine things. So I hope some of that was helpful and gave you some ideas. That's always my intent, is to give you some ideas for things that you might have, or you can add to your stash as you go along. We don't have to all have everything all at once, and so it's always fun. Lenora, you are very welcome. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate you being here. So I'm going to sign off now. So you guys take care. I will see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.